What's happening, Nerd Squad, and welcome back. Lately on the channel, we've been breaking down some odd couples in Marvel Comics history, so we figured we'd throw a couple from DC Comics in the spotlight as well. Now, some of these couples aren't going anywhere, like Lois Lane and Clark Kent. Even after his death, Lois was still committed to the relationship. How cute. Also morbid, but how cute. But in the comics, Superman has had his fair share of hookups, some that are kind of weird. Some that are kind of very weird. So here to break down our top 10 weirdest DC comic couples, I'm Taylor McWatters, you're you. Let's count them down. Number 10, Baby Lois and Super Baby. Being transformed into a baby can be fun, I guess, at least in comic books. In issue 147 of Batman, Bruce Wayne becomes a baby for a bit, and Robin did not become a baby. That was the fun part. We have a baby and a not baby. Great. Now the businessman on the cover of the comic says, look out, it's Bat Baby and Robin. Like, he's already okay with the fact that Batman is a baby. So this is normal in comic books. People turn into babies and it's fine. So Bat Baby has the same strength as Batman, so it's funny. Now sometimes baby comic book action can get weird. In Superman's girlfriend Lois Lane issue 59, we see more babyverse. I mean, just the front page, what's going on here? Superman's getting spanked, he's having a great time getting spanked. Also, why is he an infant? I have so many questions. Well, in this comic, Super Baby is from an alternate reality and Superman is still around. He's just not around right now, because it's fun. So Lois ends up bringing home this baby alternate Superman, and it's fun and it's wacky and weird. I mean, it's kind of fun. Super Baby rips apart photos of Lois Lane and Superman, so Lois spanks him a lot, and she's like rolling her wrist out in between the spanks. It's, you know, casual day in the 60s, I guess. Things get even more weird when after the baby is returned back to his homeworld, he marries both Lois and Lana. What a weird day for the crew, all around. Number 9, Harley Quinn and Harley Quinn. Do you think if you met another version of yourself, you'd get along with them? Better question, do you think if you met another version of yourself, would you fall in love with them? Probably. If I saw these curls over there, I'd be like, oh, who is this? Getting seasick just looking at those curls, ayo. I feel like I'd get along with myself for like 3 hours and then get really annoyed. While this wasn't the case for Harley Quinn, however, when she met herself, she actually fell in love. We see it all go down in 2016's Harley's Little Black Book. From Amanda Conner and Jimmy Palmiotti, we get to see 6 issues where Harley teams up with other big hitters. Like one issue, she teams up with Superman, and another with Lobo, which looks cool. It's like straight from the 90s. It's great. Harley has to take on Superman, Muhammad Ali style, a lot of fun stuff in here. Things get unique when Harley meets herself in one of these fun alternate universes, and the two of them hit it off. This whole issue was trippy, but it left me wondering if I could ever fall in love with myself in real life. Would you guys get along with a version of yourselves, another version of yourselves? Let us know in the comments. I'm genuinely curious here. And before we continue on with this list, if you want to go ahead and give us a thumbs up while you're at it, that would be super awesome. Thank you so much for your support, especially while we're working from home still for a little bit longer. We're back in the studio soon. But in the meantime, thank you so much for your constant support. Let's get right back to this list. Number 8, Wonder Woman and Superman. Sometimes key intimate moments are hard to conceal when you have the powers that these people have. Specifically the Justice League. I mean, Wonder Woman and Superman, they're different. They're a bit stronger than our average folk. So after The Dark Knight Returns, Frank Miller decided to dive into an intimate moment with the two of them. Now, of course, they're superheroes, so this caused massive tidal waves, volcanoes are going off, people have to evacuate islands. It's a nightmare for everybody that's not Wonder Woman and Superman. They're like, great, looks like a good time. We have to leave our island now, so have fun. That's really good. This also isn't the first time Superman and Wonder Woman have been together either. See, DC Comics actually tried it back in Action Comics issue 600, but clearly it didn't work too well. Number 7, Superman and Big Barda. Ah yes, the classic storyline, the Suicide Snare. Now this issue was released with Action Comics number 593 back in 1987, so just 7 issues prior to what we just saw. So now we have Superman on the cover, but this time he's hooking up with Mr. Miracle's girl, Big Barda and Supes. How? Why? What? I have so many questions. What's going on here? Also, why is Mr. Miracle just watching? What is this? What's going on? Mr. Miracle, aka Scott Free, goes home to find Darkseid chilling on his couch, immediately asking where Barda is. Darkseid gives him a tape to play. So scary, the scariest thing ever, also. And he clicks play, and the tape is not America's Funniest Home Videos. No, the tape is Big Barda and Sleaze. Now, it's a little romantic, to say the least, the way that they're dancing and partaking with each other. It's, you know, I can't say it, but you know what's going on. They don't show it, but it's heavily implied some stuff. Now the idea was that mind control Barda and Superman would bring in all the views, like a Jake Paul fight. If they bring in all the views, they get all this money to watch these two, and then that money goes towards them building a big army. I mean, sure, that's one way to make a buck. Maybe do an OnlyFans with Superman. Okay, sure. But I mean, if you can mind control Superman, maybe a magic show. I don't know, just an idea off the top of my head. I don't know, get creative. Throw a mustache on him and a cool hat. They're not gonna know it's Superman. They're gonna think that this guy's just levitating. That or mind controlled Barda. It's like, weird. Number 6, Supergirl and Comet. There's no doubt that love is a major driving force with all of these superpowered beings, but some of the relationships here are just a bit too far-fetched and odd. It's kind of hard to follow when you can't get your mind off the fact that, I don't know, like the time Supergirl fell in love with Comet, her pet horse. Let's talk about that one. Now, it's a sapient horse with magical powers who at one point was actually a centaur in ancient Greece. So it wasn't always a horse, which makes it better. It makes it better, I think. I don't know, maybe. He was once a handsome warrior man, kind of. Now, of course, super animals aren't new to DC Comics. We also have Crypto the super dog, who came from Superman's past, Streaky the super cat, Beepo the super monkey. We have all the super pets, all the super animals. It's great. So Comet was this pet from the future. So he became Supergirl's pet, and then he became a human in Action Comics issue 301. This is big news. So what ended up happening now was a comet that was passing Earth, like an actual comet, now we get it, turned him into a human man named Bronco Bill, a rodeo star. Then Supergirl and Bronco Bill fell in love and dated for some time until he turned back into an animal. This has so many layers to it, so many layers of weird. Like, she made out with her horse, right? That's the thing we're talking about. That's the main idea, that she made out with her pet horse. Number 6, she made out with a horse. That's what it should be. Number 5, Killer Croc and Orca. Orca, aka Grace Ballin and Killer Croc. Now I gotta say, they kind of seem like they're made for each other. They're giant, they're terrifying villains that I never want to run into, and the two get pretty close in the Injustice Elseworld stories. Because here, Killer Croc and Orca are actually married. Yeah, holy matrimony. Holy moly. These things are big, very big. What a loud wedding. It's nice when it starts off with just the two being married, you know? No mind control, nobody's gotta turn into a baby, just villains getting along in villain ways. Great. Plenty of fish in the sea, and Killer Croc chose an orca. How sweet. Things get even more serious in Injustice Volume 2, Issue 42. When Orca walks in, simply announces that she's pregnant, and the first response we hear is a well-timed spit take. And then Killer Croc stands up and he's like, well, I should probably go. And then everyone else is like, okay, Killer Croc, sounds good. What? Number 4, Aricia Rab and Hal Jordan. Pink Elephants is the title of issue 212 of Green Lantern Corps. We have Hal Jordan, and he's being eyed down by Aricia Rab. Now, the weird thing is, Aricia is only 13 years old. That's not okay. Now, the way they dodged this in the storyline was by having Aricia use her power ring to make herself older. But does that make it okay? No. It doesn't. Like, did readers see this and go, whoa, hold on, what are you talking? Oh, it's fine. That's fine now. No way. Aricia's like, hey, I loved you because you were the most handsome man I'd ever seen, and because you treated me like a real Green Lantern, even though I was young. Even Guy Gardner is watching like, I'm gonna throw up. I'm gonna throw up seeing this. This is gross. No, this is very gross. Even Hal Jordan's grossed out. He's like, okay, please don't, stop. We don't have to talk about. Don't remind me. And sorry for reminding you. Number 3, Superman and Maxima. Making her first appearance in Action Comics issue 647, Maxima is the oldest child of the royal family of Almerac. Now, she came to Earth in search for a suitable mate, of course choosing Superman, who, you know, can do everything in the world. So she's like, yeah, super babies, let's do it. But like we saw with Wonder Woman, just because they were compatible doesn't mean it's gonna necessarily work. Superman rejected her offer, so she went and teamed up with Brainiac for a bit before ultimately turning against him and joining the Reformed Justice League. Now, down the road, she again offered herself to Superman because, you know, she's a better person this time around. She went from being a villain, now she's on the good side. She's like, hey, I've changed. Wanna have 6 kids? But again, Superman said no. Besides, he was married to Lois Lane at this point, so it's just not in the cards. It's just not happening. Sorry, Maxima. But in Adventures of Superman Annual 3, we see her dream finally come true, tragically. Because after an untimely passing, Lois Lane wasn't necessarily in the picture anymore. Ooh, sorry. So Clark actually felt responsible for not being able to save her life, so he left Earth. He couldn't bear Earth anymore. Felt like he genuinely had no reason to stay on this planet. That's love. heavy, but love. And while Superman was being attacked in space, Maxima came to the rescue. And Superman, well, he decided to stick around. Not having anywhere else to go, he figured, why not? So this escalated in the comics to a point where it's implied that the two eventually did have kids. So don't give up on love, guys, because they might leave their home planet and you might meet them. Number 2, Robin and Wonder Girl. This next one is absolutely insane, okay? So after the death of Superboy in Infinite Crisis, Robin's plan was to try and replace him with a clone using Superboy's corpse. Now, of course, that was way easier said than done, and this failed over and over and over again. So Wonder Girl walks in and sees Robin clearly frustrated at all these failures, and he starts to destroy all of these attempts of a clone. Guts everywhere, it's so gross, probably smells horrible. So they both ended up bonding over how upset they were at the loss of Superboy, and then with all the remains of the clones just laying all over the ground, they started to make out. So while they were still crying, they were kissing, they were bonding, there's guts everywhere. I mean, sure, that's normal to a degree, but like clean up the guts maybe, or go into another room where there's no guts of the person you're crying over, you know? Just an idea. Number 1, Beast Boy, Tara, and Deathstroke. Hey, 3 in 1, how lovely. So we met Tara when she was running away from a giant scorpion, and naturally the Titans came to the rescue to help. But help is not something she really needed per se. She was actually leading the scorpion into a trap the whole time, where she would then use her powers to finish it off with a stone bridge collapsing. Now, when she introduces herself to the team, Beast Boy gets all shy, turns himself into a turtle, which is great, it's hilarious. She loves it, I love it, we all love it. Now, Tara and Beast Boy are close enough that Beast Boy convinces Tara to stay with the team and train. But during that conversation by the water, Tara accidentally moves a rock that Beast Boy is sitting on. So now it's implied that she can't really control her powers. This is a big deal. So the next day when she's being tested by the team, she kills it. She actually does really well. Then later on, Tara and Slade Wilson cross paths, and Slade explains how the team is just gonna get rid of her once they realize she can't control her powers, and that he can surely help with that. Okay, easy dude. So she tells him to beat it, and eventually she becomes a full member of the Titans. Now during a rendezvous with Beast Boy, they both cross paths with Slade Wilson, and then he reveals how Tara had just been a spy the whole time. And to make matters even worse somehow, in the Judas Contract storyline in the comics, one of the main reasons behind the betrayal is that she and Deathstroke were actually in love the whole time. And she's 15. So weird. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments down below which other DC romances you think are a bit odd, so we can throw them into a cheeky part 2. I've been your host, Taylor McWatters. You've been you, and we'll see you next time on Top 10 Nerd. Peace.